Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, my daughter's starting school, and she wants to make a great first impression, like dress to impress.
Take her to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yes, all kids' styles are up to 50% off. Get cute tees and active from $5 and jeans from just $10 at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
Up to 50% off all kids' styles?
Yep, and Old Navy has a new kids in-store shoe shop. All shoes for kids, like sandals, high tops, and flats are up to 50% off, too.
Up to 50% off all shoes? Old Navy? Here we come.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 7/24 to 8/9. Excludes in-store clearance.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
You are tuning in to a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the Quantum Path Radio Show with Dennis Anderson. Dennis is a psychic medium, a hypnotist, and spiritual teacher. He has had a gift to perceive the subtle energies from an early age, turning off the gift at the age of 20 to live life, love, and understand human behavior. To have it reawaken again during his late 30s due to a calling that was loud and needed to be answered, Dennis was urged by Spirit to learn more, grow more, and share his gifts that others can benefit by exploring their own unique abilities. Call in now if you would like to speak to Dennis. The call-in number is 713-955-0594. Press 1 so that you can get into the host queue.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Quantum Path Radio Show. My name, as described earlier, is Dennis Anderson, and I do welcome you very much here today on this July 24th, I think it is, whatever day. Who cares what day it is? It doesn't make a difference what day, because tomorrow is another one. And really, it does not make a difference what day of the year it is, because there's always going to be another day. And the thing is that I've had some interesting things, and I kind of want to, kind of go over a few things, I guess you could say, maybe with you. I've been pondering a few things over this past weekend, and also, actually even from today for that matter. First of all, let's just kind of get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way. My name is, like I said, Dennis Anderson, and I'm a psychic, I'm a medium. I do hypnosis as well for people in a therapeutic sort of way. I'm also, let's put it this way, very much focused in the teaching aspect of things, and that's something that I'm very passionate about and very fond of. I love to teach people on how they can actually connect to their own inner self, and that is one of the things that I love getting up in the morning and figuring out new ways of maybe trying to explain something or trying to look at something or something so that everybody can actually understand a little bit differently. And I know there's a lot of teachers out there, and I do, let's put it this way, I do highly recommend to everyone to, and it doesn't make a difference what you do. And that's kind of the fun thing about all of this. It really doesn't make a difference what you do in your life, because really what it comes down to is that you can use your own intuition and your own development, I guess you could say, to enrich everything within your life. So the thing is that, let's put it this way. I do work as an electrician even during the day and stuff like that, and I've used my skills, I guess you could say, to find certain problems. I've also been to various businesses as well where, let's put it this way, they asked me to remove, I guess you could say, certain, what they felt was negative energy or negative spirit, I guess you could say, around. And I've done that, sort of thing. The interesting thing is that as I was walking around in this one place, it was a construction / warehouse, I guess you could say, where they were actually making tiles. And the interesting thing is that as I was walking around, I noticed that there was this one piece of equipment. And from what I understand afterwards is that he was telling me it was one of the major pieces. So the interesting thing was as I was walking around and I was just kind of feeling things, clearing things and so forth, I felt there was something wrong with this piece. And I was pointing to a box at the back side of it. And what I felt there was like something just didn't feel right. Something just didn't feel like it was fully, like something was just amiss. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that ache or that dull sort of little twinge that maybe you have in your back or whatever. Because as you put yourself into these things, you can actually kind of feel it within your own body too. And that's kind of the neat thing about it too. So anyway, I was feeling around, and I noticed, though, that there was something there. Something didn't feel right. And he had mentioned, though, he goes, well, I did have somebody look at that about 3 weeks previous, and they did do some sort of repair to it. And I said, okay, well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just the residual energy that it was putting off. So as I was making my way through, and I finished my clearing, I guess you could say, for the day. And about 3 weeks later, he calls me up and he goes, "You're not going to believe this, but that piece of equipment actually broke down." And let's put it this way: that piece of equipment was something major. He needed that piece. It was something that was very conducive to his own business. And the interesting thing, though, was the aspect that, let's put it this way, they had to fly a person in from Italy to fix it because there was nobody here in Canada that could actually do so. And because it was such a specialized piece. So the guy comes up, and he flies up, I should say, he spends 15 minutes on it, fixes it, and everything's all hunky-dory. And let's put it this way, it was down for 3 weeks, which was very detrimental to his business. And the part that actually, or the area that this guy ended up having to fix was actually the spot that I actually ended up pointing out to him. So you can use this in everything, like even in your own work. You know, let's say, if you're feeling the energy of the room, of the crowd that you're in, the people that you work with, you can notice if there's going to be something that is going to be up or down. And I've consulted a few times actually with, let's put it this way, various vice presidents and so forth of companies where they actually had mentioned, hey, can you come in? Can you kind of feel what's going on if there's something amiss? And I did point out a couple of things, and they said, well, to be honest with you, yes, we are looking at restructuring that. And along with that, though, was a little bit of pushback from some of the employees. So that's when I had mentioned, though, too, that, well, maybe it's just a different way of approaching it. And that's part of it as well. Coming up with different ways of looking at things, a different perspective, and that's something that we need to start looking at, like how do we look at our lives, like within a different perspective, I guess you could say. And from what I understand, I guess we already have a caller. So anyway, if Roz can bring through caller 216, my cards are all warmed up and ready to go.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you? Okay.
I'm doing very well. So what can I do for you today? And what's your name? I'm sorry.
Oh, my name is Sharon, and I can ask a question? I didn't know.
Absolutely.
This is the first time calling in. Okay. I just
first
started
time
a new job.
Long-time listener?
Yeah, it is my first time calling in on your show. It's the first time I'm home at night. I changed careers. Okay,
Gotcha.
And I started last Monday. I love it. It's everything I'm looking for. I just want to know, there's so much to learn in the job. The last person left at the last minute. And I want you to look with the guy that hired me, if we're going to work out together, if he's going to be satisfied with my work. He just wants all this stuff to be memorized. Like, he just wants things done. He's very backed up in work. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay,
if it's going to be a keeper, the job, I want it to be a keeper.
Okay, well, I'm just giving the cards a quick shuffle as I was just tuning in there. You probably heard them riffling in the background. My first impression actually is that, yes, I do feel you actually in there for a while. Let's put it that way. So in a while, I mean by a few years. Let's put it that way. Although you do have a tendency, though, to get, I don't want to say bored, but it feels like you almost get a little bit, maybe bored is the right term. I don't know if that it's just that it just seems like at times, not right. No, of course not right at now, but maybe in other jobs or whatever. It does feel like at times you do feel like maybe you're missing out on the challenge or something like that. do think that there's going to be some good things, though, coming for you. Like, I do see that, yes, you are going to be working actually fairly hard with this. It's definitely
challenging.
Going to make yes.
Yeah.
yeah. There's definitely going to be some challenges there. And let's put it this way, with this guy that hired you, I do see that he is going to be actually fairly reasonable with you. Like, I think what it comes down to is, what I'm getting from him anyways, is that he is just kind of, excited right now. And he is going to mellow out once he actually sees that you're actually going to be, let's put it this way, once you're kind of the probationary training thing gets done, like he can kind of like just kind of take that breath of fresh air a little bit and just kind of like, okay, here we go, and then he can kind of relax a little bit more. So I do think that things are going to work out very well, and I think money-wise, you're actually going to do fairly well with it too.
Yeah,
at least
decent
that's what
money.
I'm seeing here. Yeah,
it is.
I think there's.
But I want to learn the job. I know money's important, but the job itself, it's a totally different career direction, but it's going to be a lot more challenging, and I know it's a busy job. So I just want to make sure it's going to work out. So he is going to be pretty much satisfied with me, and I'll be satisfied with him too.
Yes, I do see that. It just comes down to just getting those initial kinks out of the way first. Like I said, just that probationary period sort of thing. And then everything is going to work out, I think, very well. Yeah.
Anything else you can pick up without asking? That's wonderful.
No, it's not so much actually with the guy that is there, but I do feel that I am feeling a female presence around there that you may end up having to watch out for a little bit. Okay?
Go on. I know.
I'm just kind of feeling that there could be maybe just a touch bit of jealousy or something like that kind of creeping out or something there. It just feels like you just got to watch what you say around her, that's all. Okay?
Okay, I think I know who it is. She last week, my first day at my desk party, she felt like she didn't want to train me, and I wasn't doing anything, but I understand. Just watch, don't say anything. That's it. I get it. But she's not going to cause any problems, is she?
I don't think she's going to cause you any problems. I think what it comes down to, those is that, like I said, it just feels like there could be a little bit of that jealousy / something going on there. And also, too, you're the new person. Okay, and that's the thing, too, is that when you get somebody new coming in, what does it do? It kind of puts a little bit of a monkey wrench into the works a little bit until things smooth out, and then, I think she'll be okay, but just, like I said, just kind of watch what you say. And
And she knows I'm going to be able to do the job, doesn't she?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I'm pretty certain of that anyway. It feels very, like, you're very confident, and, and so you should be. And just allow yourself to go in there and just be
I'm
who
50-50 right now. I know, I'm 50-50 right now. I put up a front, but I'm like, oh my God, I have to learn all this. It's so overwhelming, but I'll do it, I know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but you're very welcome. And just remember, like in about 30 days or whatever, you're going to be sitting there, be like old hat after a while, right?
I know.
So,
I get it. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. Okay, so that was our first caller of the day, and I actually kind of wanted to kind of talk about one of my other readings I had today, actually, and this one here kind of, I don't want to say it threw me off, but it really made me think a lot about, I guess you could say, our own perspective of how we look at things in life. There was a lady, she called up, and you can tell she was, she was a little bit older, okay, because I was doing this one, just over the phone. And she was a little older, lovely lady sort of thing. You can feel, though, that she was worried about a few things. And there was actually also the presence of other, I guess you could say, spirit around her, okay? So the thing is, let's put it this way, like there was that presence around her of additional, I guess you could say, family or those that were close to her. So the thing is that as I kind of started touching in, it was actually more along the lines of she just wanted to connect with the loved ones that have passed. And so in other words, what ended up happening was she had 5 children, and 4 of them had passed. And that has probably got to be the hardest thing for any mother or parent or whatever, is not only to lose one child, but to actually lose multiple children, and like early, okay? And that's the thing there. And as I was talking to her, like, you can feel there was this anger that was within her, and actually was actually manifesting itself within a way that was, let's put it this way, it did manifest itself physically, just because of the, that anger and that sort of why sort of question that was coming up. And it really made me look at things, I guess you could say, like I really put myself into her shoes. And that's the thing with any psychic medium sort of thing. We are the ones that are going to, in essence, we're trying to put ourselves into your shoes, okay? And that's the thing there. So the thing is that as she was talking to me, she did mention that, why is God doing this to me? Because that was one of the things actually that kind of came up even beforehand. Like I said, okay, because it just felt like there was a lot of church and prayer and stuff like that was going through. And she did mention, though, that she was a Catholic and that she did go to church very frequently. And the thing is that as she was relaying her worries and her doubts to me, I could feel what I wanted to say to her was the aspect of, I guess you could say, forgiveness. Forgiveness of God for allowing that to happen. And she was pretty adamant in some ways where she didn't want to. And it almost actually brings a little bit of a tear to my eye now, actually, in a lot of ways. But as she was conveying, the sadness of losing 4 children, I mentioned, like I said, to her about forgiveness and about looking at things as this is a path that we choose, and that as spirit, we do move on. We do carry on in our lives, I guess you could say, as a spirit, we ascend, or if we want to look at it as shifting dimension, whatever, it doesn't really make a difference. But the thing is that we do move on past our physical form here. And a lot of the personality, a lot of the experiences and everything like that, and I was explaining this to her, that is actually carried forward. Like it's not just a one-time around sort of thing and then that's it. We do this multiple times. This is how our soul learns. This is how our aspect of who we are develops and grows. Our soul, our spirit, our being, we grow this way by living, by dying, by living all those little bits in between. And I guess you could say that's why I mentioned about at the beginning here is like, hey, who cares what today is, because tomorrow is another one. And that's the thing. Like, we need to start kind of looking at things maybe a little bit differently. Our lives do carry on, whether it be here in this physical realm or whether it be in the next realm or possibly in the next life. And I've done past life regressions with people, and there's some really powerful things that really do come up. And it can be a very, like I said, it can be a beautiful thing when a person does connect that way. And I really do welcome people to explore that aspect of themselves. When you do that, it really does change a little bit of who you are, but usually for the better. Well, actually, all the time for the better, 100% for the better. And when you do, though, it's a beautiful thing. Like you look at things differently, you look at life differently, you look at death differently. I lost my parents, let's say, for example. My mom just recently last year, and my dad about 8 or 9 years before that. And the thing is that I still talk to them on a day-to-day basis. Whether they hear me or not sometimes, well, I don't really care. But the thing is that I still enjoy communing with them. And that's the thing. Like, when you do, they know you're there, and they feel you. And in turn, they will give you that warmth and feeling back. My dad has helped me, I guess you could say, many times on construction projects, because that's the type of guy that he was. And my mom, she was more of the, well, she was the housekeeper, and she's, but she, let's put it this way, she showed me, I guess you could say, a lot of things about cooking and stuff like that, even after the fact, that she didn't show me when she was on this plane. And there's times where, let's put it this way, I get surprised by what I make. And that's kind of the funny thing. And it's not due to talent or anything like that. Heaven knows I'm no Chef Ramsay, but just things will come. And that's the thing. Like, allow yourself to be open to those things sometimes. It's not a bad thing. So I am going to go to our next caller, which is 312. So if Roz could put that one through, please, that would be fantastic.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. My name's Karen, calling from Chicago.
Hi, Karen.
Hello there.
Oh, from Chicago. Wow. How is the Windy City?
Oh, it's pretty good right now. It's cooled off a little bit. We're in the 80s now.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad then. It's kind of cool. The same thing over here in Toronto as well. A little bit rainy, I guess you could say, / cloudy, but it's okay. It's tolerable. It's nice. So what can I do for you today?
I'm wondering, I'm looking for a job right now, and I'm wondering if you see, like, maybe a temp agency or someone calling me for work.
Okay. I'm just kind of giving the cards a shuffle as I kind of tune into your energy here. And the interesting thing that I'm actually getting is I'm actually getting a couple of things coming up, to be honest with you. And it's not so much with the temp agent. Temp agency was not feeling quite right. But I do feel, though, as if there is going to be a couple of calls where, let's put it this way, it almost feels like there's a headhunter looking at you. Is there something that you've applied for? Or it just feels like you put something out there, and then all of a sudden it's going to be coming back, but you're going to be getting a couple of interviews.
Yes. I applied for a writer job, and they requested additional information from me.
Okay, good. Because I do feel that you're going to, it's not just that one, though. There's going to be something else as well. That's interesting because I was actually seeing a computer in front of you for some sort of reason, so that's probably part of it. Also, too, make certain that you're putting yourself out there. I don't know if you're on, the other, and this is non-psychical, but let's put it this way. It's, I want to say, like through LinkedIn and that type of area anyway, but I do feel that you are going to be getting a couple of different calls, and I'm actually thinking that you're going to be getting one here probably within the next, I want to say about a week and a half or so, actually. One is going to be fairly soon, and then you're going to be getting another one probably in about 3 weeks, once things kind of start going a little bit more in that direction. This is good. This is very good. I'm actually feeling that things are going to actually work out very nicely for you. And it almost is where you're going to actually have to kind of make a choice here. Wow, these are great cards, actually. I just kind of put out a few cards here for you, and let's put it this way. These are like major type of cards, which is actually kind of interesting for starters, but it's also new path, new growth, that type of thing here for you.
Okay.
And you're going to do very well. There is going to be some work involved. I'm not going to lie to you on that, but it is definitely something that you're actually going to be enjoying. That's for sure here.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And like I said, I think what's going to end up happening is that first job that is going to be approached is going to be the one for you. It just feels right when I feel it. But obviously, like I think you're going to have a couple. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
A couple of good
Sounds
interviews
good.
there. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll
You're
keep
very welcome.
looking,
My pleasure.
I'm going to the library tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, sounds good. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay. So anyway, as I was discussing earlier, let's do a couple other little things here. Coming up actually later on this week on July 26th, Al will be at Happy Soul in Toronto at 6 o'clock doing a psychic development courses there. And July 27th, I'll be at Moonflowers in Stouffville, which is the day after, doing my psychic development there. And then July 29th, Being in Balance over in, I think it's Shelburne, if I'm not mistaken, which is just north of Brampton, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be doing aura photos for the day. So, and that's another thing that I also do as well, which is aura photography, and it's actually kind of fun because let's put it this way, it's something that people can look at and they can take home, and the technology is actually very cool, mainly because of the fact that it's very, let's put it this way, it's consistent. Does it have all the levels and layers that, let's say, for example, that I would perceive or that another psychic would perceive? Well, not typically, no. But it does give a really good snapshot, and it actually is quite accurate, and I have to admit that. But the neat thing, though, is that you can actually see the colors that are going around you. Okay, and that's the beauty of it, actually, because we're colorful beings. It's just a frequency. That's all it is. And everything has its own frequency, like whether it be love or forgiveness, even for that matter. Creativity, family, relationships, all those things, they all have their own colors, and they're all related to various aspects of the physical body, as well as, your spiritual and emotional self. And it's pretty good. So if you ever do get the chance, or if you're ever in town or whatever, feel free to give me a call. You can either contact me at DennisJAnderson.com or auraphotogenic.com. And you could also reach me at either through my website or actually through Facebook as well. And where am I going with this? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, yes, forgiveness. That's the thing I was working my way through here. Forgiveness is kind of a weird sort of thing because it's probably one of the hardest things that we actually ever have to do in our lives. And as I was describing earlier about that lady who had lost, it was 4 children out of the 5, I said, well, can you ask for, can you forgive yourself in regards to the hating, I guess you could say, or the anger that you're displaying towards God, or the anger that you have towards losing your children in the first place? Because you got to look at it, too, is that, all of a sudden they're taken away from you. And when that happens, you can be angry. And that's just part of the grief process, I guess you could say. The anger can be there. And I did a really good meditation, and actually I'm going to be probably posting it up on my website as well. I have a free one, by the way, up on my website right now if you wish to download it. It's an older meditation that I created years ago. But if you wish to download it, feel free. It's only... it's about 30 minutes. It's just a relaxation type, and I'm actually going to be posting another one here when it comes to the forgiveness aspect, because that's something that, let's put it this way, there's some sort of action, okay, that is required with forgiveness, and sometimes you just have to make that realization within yourself that if somebody let's put it this way, and I'm going to use this as an example. Somebody walks by you on the street, or maybe if you're driving or something like that, and they cut you off, or the person that's walking beside you, they look at you funny, and all of a sudden it creates a reaction within you, okay? And that reaction can, let's say, for example, like if they bump you or something like that, like it can lead to anger, it can lead to frustration or whatever. But forgiveness is something where you look at that and you don't allow, or you allow it, but you don't give it the time. Because time is one of those things that I guess you could say it's like a construct in some ways. But time is an aspect of our lives that we can control in many ways. You know, like if we have an emotional aspect or some sort of emotional, like anger towards somebody because we felt that they did something wrong to us, and we get angry, and that's natural. But when you look at it and when you feed it, anger requires food, and that food in a lot of ways is time and other aspects, I guess you could say. But time is one of them. And the more time you give it, the more it builds, and the more it will manifest itself within your own system. So when you look at it, you want to almost allow yourself to be able to basically acknowledge it, see it, acknowledge it, feel it even, because it's going to be natural. You are going to naturally feel something, and it's a gimme, okay? It's just there. And you cannot feel anger if you are angry, okay? And that's the thing. But the thing is that what you can do, though, is you can let it go. And when you acknowledge the thought of anger, okay, and what I mean by this is like you look at it, and like I was using with the example earlier, somebody bumps you on the street as they're walking by, and it frustrates you because they threw you off that little bit. I can choose to be angry about it, and I will be probably for maybe a couple of seconds, but I will allow myself, though, to release it, and it's something as simple as letting it go. So if you imagine, let's say, for example, holding a pen or one of those balls or whatever, or a rock in your hand, and you can almost feel all that anger kind of going towards it. And then all it takes is you just to open up your hand and let it go, let it drop off of your hand, and let gravity just take it away. And that's kind of the beauty of letting things go, creating forgiveness. And maybe when you put yourself in that other person's shoes, maybe they were just in a rush. Maybe they had other things on their mind. Allow yourself to put yourself in that person's shoes. And then that's when the forgiveness really does take a hold, and it takes root. You build that up every day, a little bit. And even if you can't allow the forgiveness for right now, but you can ask, let's say, for example, an archangel if you want, or God, or universe, or source energy, or whatever, to take that anger away, or to provide forgiveness to that person. Because in essence, you're one and the same anyway. We're all part of one big, I guess you could say, system, organism in some ways, I guess you could say. So, I have another caller. Caller 203, please, if they are still around. That would be fantastic.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I have a lot of great plans for this year, all hinging on things that need to happen for all these great things.
Yeah, I hear you, because I've done that myself, too. And I'm glad for you. That's great that you have these wonderful plans.
I do. Yeah, I have great expectations. But I'm flying out for an interview on the East Coast. I'm flying out tomorrow. My interview's on Wednesday. And the plan, so I'm hoping, was wondering if you could tell me if I'm going to get this job and if this is going to be really good for me.
Okay. Well, my first impression actually is that it does feel pretty good. Okay, like in regards to the interview and so forth. As you go in there, make certain though that you're, I don't want to say assertive, but that you're very confident. Okay, and I know that's kind of like, let's put it this way, kind of like basic sort of knowledge that goes along with that. But I want you to actually feel that confidence within you, because for some sort of reason, I almost feel like you have that little bit of doubt within you at times. That you kind of, let's put it this way, people can pick up on that sort of energy. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, though, and well, it's up to you, obviously. But the thing is that when you go in there and practice just before you go. Okay, and practice it a little bit every day, but as you walk in, even imagine walking through your bedroom door or through the door of the washroom or whatever. Just imagine yourself walking into that room where somebody's going to be interviewing you, and you are going to be taking, I guess, not really charge, but you're going to be kind of like who you are, giving yourself the ability to say, yeah, this is me. And I'm very confident in what I do, and I know what needs to be done, and I can do that for you, and I can give that to you. You see what I mean? Imagine yourself walking in there with that sort of mindset that you already have it. Don't doubt it, sort of thing. But it does feel actually very good, okay, because I do actually get you, to be honest with you, signing a contract with them. I'm feeling that. Let's put it that way. It feels good. It feels very good. And what I'm getting here, though, is that, like I said, there has to be a little bit of balance, though. Okay? Make certain that, and by balance, what I mean, though, is just, like I said, go in there confidently, but not over-assertive. But be open to their ways of thinking or whatever, too, okay? Because they may, it just feels like there's going to be a question or two where it may throw you off a little bit, and it feels almost like it's totally away from the actual interview itself. It's kind of like more personal, maybe it's like, what's your favorite movie, that type of thing. So you know what I mean? It just feels like there's going to be some sort of weird question in there that they're going to throw at you, and it'll be kind of like, huh? So just be confident and be assured that let's put it this way, it looks good. And even as I put out a couple of cards here for you, I actually get some really good things. I got the Ace of Swords here, which is, let's put it this way, when I see that one in regards to career, it usually means that this is a good path for you. Okay, so things are going to really happen. I see you getting that contract, and I think things are going to really work out for you.
Good, because I'm counting on many things, and my daughter's future is at stake, too, as I gamble on uncertainties here. She's going to actually be living away from me in another state, but it's going to be close by, like 2.5 hours away. And hopefully that'll work out well for her.
I think it will, actually. I really do feel that, things are going to actually go very well for you. Is she already signed up for that school already?
Yeah, she is.
She's already in there? Okay. So everything is registered and stuff like that. Okay.
As far as I know. Sometimes she tells me that things are done and then they're not, but...
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I think she is.
I know, I do. I get that with my 12-year-old daughter, and it's kind of like, okay, did you put the dishes away? And it's kind of like, no, not really, sort of thing. I get what you're saying there. But the thing is that I do feel, though, that for some sort of reason, if it's not, it just feels like there may be another school involved, too. And I don't know why I'm getting that. It's almost like either a secondary placement or maybe she'll transfer or something like that too.
Oh, well, that's the plan. The plan is for her to go only for one semester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
to live in that. We have a condo that's kind of dilapidated. The tenant's moving out, and I was going to put her in the condo. She was going to go to some community college for a semester, and I'm hoping it doesn't turn out to be some big disaster.
Oh, okay. No, I think it'll be fine. I was just, because I was getting like there was going to be another school involved, and I wasn't certain. That's why I was kind of wondering. Like it felt a little weird in some ways, But if it's just one semester, then yeah, I think things are going to be fine. I don't think you're not going to have any problems. I don't think. I think things are going to be good.
Okay. Of course, if the tenant doesn't move out, then she won't be doing that plan either. So maybe you're picking up on just her not doing that plan and just coming with me.
I don't know about that. I am getting that she is going to be moving there, but it just feels like she's going to be kind of like, let's put it this way, almost living out of the suitcase for a bit. It's very temporary and so forth. But I think it'll be fine. Yeah,
Okay.
I think things are going to fall into place for you. I don't think there's going to be really any concerns. Just like I said, just be confident when you go in for that interview. I think things are going to work out very well.
I hope so. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'll get it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. So that was another one of our wonderful callers calling in, and I'm so grateful for all of them that do call in. Like I was saying earlier about the forgiveness aspect, I know it gets kind of heavy sometimes, but sometimes life is like that. And it's pretty easy for us to get kind of wrapped up and caught up in certain things, I guess you could say. It's tough. I'm not going to lie. Life can be tough sometimes, and it can be challenging. But at times it can, if we allow ourselves to just let go of certain things, to release, to just kind of take things as it comes, then I guess you could say things just feel easier. Like if we stop stressing about certain things. I get it. Money comes up sometimes. And that's, careers come up, money, people, unfortunately will pass away. But whereas if we allow ourselves to not become too emotionally attached to the worries, to the doubts, to the fears, all those lower vibing, I guess you could say, sort of feelings that are on that, which I use in regards to that Power versus Force by David Hawkins and his levels of consciousness. If we hold on to those aspects that are on the low vibing, I guess you could say, or the low frequencies, well, then things get a little bit tougher, and things get a little bit trickier. But if you throw 100% of who you are into the next best feeling, even if let's put it this way, like I said, I lost my mother last year, and I was feeling the grief and so forth, and like I was feeling the grief from that lady today. And I said to her, like, you know what? I understand your pain, and I get it, but hold on to that next best feeling and you don't have to make a big jump, okay? And that's the thing here. A lot of people think, well, if I have love in my life and whatever, and I get that, and that is a kind of a key component. Like, love is a very strong aspect and does help you. But when you're in that mode of grief, sometimes the next best feeling of, even if it's just kind of like that hope, or if it's worry, those types of feelings, which could be just a minor step up, but it's still a step up in the right direction. And then when you master that one, you'll go on to the next one, and then the hill becomes a lot less. It's like they say, you know, the path to enlightenment is 1,000. You know, like to take a 1,000-step journey, it starts off with one step, and that's the thing. You know, like 1,000 miles seems like a lot, and at times it does seem like a lot, especially when you're going through bouts of, let's say, for example, depression or something like that. But the thing is that when you can take that next step, you know, towards part of the path and towards the next area, to the next better feeling, to the next aspect of who you are, that's when the magic really starts to happen. That's when things start to really start looking up. And that's the thing that I want to do for you people out there, even for my listeners or for anybody that's out there, is that I want to help you. You know, like sometimes it gets tough, and you need that maybe a different perspective, you know, and that's what my calling is. You know, like I could have done any numerous, I guess you could say, other jobs, and heaven knows I've had a few other jobs in my life. I've been fairly successful with them, and at times I sit there and I say, like, okay, well, you know, I can make more money doing this. But the thing is that I kept getting pulled back. I kept getting drawn to help, to be in service to other people. And that's what I love doing. I love being in service, you know, and helping people to realize that they can be their own best source of inspiration. They can be their own best source of hope, their own best source of everything that is around them in the world. You know, like you're your own best guru, as they always say. But the thing is that sometimes you just need to bounce something off of somebody, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to bounce things off of you, or for you, even for that matter, to help you look at a different perspective, maybe. And that's my passion, okay, and that's what I love to do. And I know it's one of those things, you know, like we are complex beings. You know, we have a lot of different energies. We have a lot of different paths. Some people are, you know, focused on, you know, like, oh, how can I make my $1 million, you know, sort of thing. And if that's part of your path, then that's part of your path. You know, but sometimes you just need that little bit of a insight or something like that into it. Once again, if you wish to contact me for a reading, I am available at DennisJAnderson.com. You can make an appointment through there. Or if you are interested, I'm also going to be at, like I said, Happy Soul on July 26th for my psychic development courses there, as well as July 27th at Moonflowers in Stouffville, where I will be once again doing my psychic development courses as well. These are fun, and that's the thing here. This is like the fun aspect of the things that I do. The psychic development, like I always tell everybody, is this is the icing on the cake, okay? And that's the neat thing about this. It really is just icing on the cake, because really what it comes down to is it's you getting in touch with your higher self, you know, your soul self, your spiritual self. And when you get in connection with that, when you start developing that through either meditation or through, and there's various forms of meditation, you know, like there's the mindfulness, there's the other aspects, you know, like walking meditations, being out in nature, sitting in drumming circles, those types of things. They're all fantastic ways of just connecting to something. And work with whatever you feel is right to you. And I've tried different things, and I love them all, actually, to be honest with you. But the interesting thing is that I see all the commonalities amongst all of them, and that's kind of the fun thing to actually see in some ways, is how the various religions all have certain common sort of things or threads amongst them. And it's interesting to see, too, is that within history, there's various common events that have happened. And these are, let's put it this way, these are things like from one culture to the next. They could be separated by continents from thousands of years ago. And yet, for some sort of reason, there's something similar to them. Take Noah's Ark and his floods. Sort of archetype, I guess you could say, or I guess you could say similar sort of story. The flood arc or the flood event has happened many times accordingly, like not just with Noah and the Ark, but also with the with the North American Indians, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, also in South America, the same sort of thing. They had different stories, but yet the underlying thread of it is very similar. And that's the thing here. Just keep exploring. Like, I love reading about stuff like that. I love learning about stuff like that. Like even with the tarot decks and so forth, like there are the archetypes, but and they're very powerful visual sort of tools that we can use to learn. But it's also a way to look into the human condition. Like what is going on within you? What is part of the condition that's going on with somebody else? And in turn, you can look at it as a tool to, how can I help that person? Like, I'm not saying everybody's going to go out there and hang their shingle on the side of their house or whatever, and that's okay. Like, not everybody is going to be drawn to that. But the thing is that what I do want to, and I do encourage everyone to do, is look at your neighbors. When you go outside, and maybe you're going out for a walk or whatever, and you see your neighbor, when was the last time you said hello to them? Why? And if you haven't, why? Or is it because they always seem to be so closed off, or maybe they're grumpy or whatever? Well, it never hurts to open up that door and say hello to them, and express to them that, hey, how's the weather today, that type of thing, because you never know. It can be that one little thing. Somebody had posted a thing on Facebook a while back, too, about a friend of mine, actually. She ended up getting she was complaining about the person in front, and it looked like, the lineup was going really long or whatever for her to get her coffee at the Tim Hortons. And the surprising thing was, what ended up happening? She ended up getting a free coffee out of it, because the guy she was complaining about actually ended up buying her coffee, which I thought was actually pretty cool. And I know I've done that to people, and actually it feels pretty darn good, but it's that little connection that you make with somebody else, that can change your whole perspective of humanity and so forth. And that really is the beautiful thing of it. Like, as we take certain things for granted in our lives. Like, we take our loved ones especially, we take them for granted very easily. Appreciate them. Give them a little something, like, even if it's just a hug or a smile or something, and your neighbors. Say hello to them. Start a conversation. Maybe it's something that they could look forward to. But you know what? It's that and it can be that shift in that perspective that you create within them that makes their day or makes their week. Or I had a neighbor as well, and I'll relay this message too, is that I heard a car running. Okay, and this is at this place that I'm living at. And I didn't really think much about it. actually, and that was the interesting thing, is I didn't really think anything of it. But anyway, I ended up going outside, and but I noticed that the running sound was actually coming from the garage of my neighbor. And I was looking, going, okay, why is the door not open if the car is running? And it scared the living bejesus out of me. Let me put it to you that way. And as I knocked on the door, and my heart was actually, to be honest with you, it was kind of racing at that time because of the fact that I was worried about what I was actually going to get, or what I was going to find, I guess you could say. And as I opened up the door, actually I kind of flung it really open very fast. And that's when I noticed the guy, he was sitting there. You know, his door was basically slightly ajar. The window was open, and the car was running. I basically kind of knocked on his trunk, and just hoping that, you know, like he was still coherent and that he could hear. And like I said, it scared me. And he actually did turn around at that point, and he was kind of like surprised that I kind of flung the door open. But I did express to him, though, saying like, hey, you know, like, be careful. You know, like, this is how people die, you know. And I said, like, think of your family. Think of the people that are around you. And maybe it was that little connection that I made with him for him to understand that, you know, what would happen if I did die? Who would miss me? And ask yourself that. When you look back at your life, how do you want to leave it? You know, and I looked at this gentleman, and I was so grateful that he was okay. I said to him, like, hey, if you're going to start your car, do it outside, like, you know, pull it out or whatever and run it or whatever at that time. But he was very happy. He was very grateful that I pointed it out to him. Maybe he just wasn't aware of the hazards, I guess you could say. But the thing is, though, is that I made that connection with him that day, and from that day forward, he's always got the smile for me. He's always saying hello, even though culturally, like, he can't really speak English very well. Heaven knows I can't speak English very well either myself half the time. But the thing is that, you know, when you make that connection with somebody else, like, it's a beautiful thing. So keep allowing that, you know, keep allowing those connections to be developed, to grow. Like I said, not everybody's going to be out there hanging up a shingle, and I don't really expect that. But what I do want to, and I do hope for all of you to do, is to make those connections with other people that are around you, even the ones that you think are maybe the a-holes or the jerks or whatever. You know, look at it differently and just kind of like make that positive, or try to make that positive connection with them, because it may just turn their lives around that little bit, where all of a sudden they're not so bitter, they're not so angry. And in turn, you positively influence somebody else. You know, like even with, like I was mentioning with the power versus force earlier, when you raise your own vibration up to a certain level, and whether it be, you know, whatever it is, the peace level or whatever it is, but anyway, you start to positively affect the others that are around you. And the higher your vibration is, the more people that you are going to affect. So the thing is that even if you change, let's say, for example, the person that's your neighbor, or the person that, you know, was the jerk, you know, like, and you just raise up their level that little bit by shining your light that little bit of awareness. All of a sudden, you know, like I said, that one person could change, they feel better, and maybe they'll do something, you know, that whole pay it forward sort of thing. And that's what I leave you here with today. Pay it forward. Enjoy your lives. And really start to connect to other people, you know, on a deeper level if you can. Put yourself in their shoes, just that little bit, even if it's just once or twice or whatever. But you'll probably find that when you do, yeah, things just get a little bit better. Things get a little brighter. not just for you, but for them too. And that's where the forgiveness comes in as well. Allow yourself to forgive them. Because do you really want to take that anger with you as an experience? Or do you want to take that forgiveness with you when you pass on? And with that, it is now almost 9 o'clock, and I do want to say that I am very grateful for all of my callers today for calling in. And for those of you that have listened in, I am so grateful for it. And I wish you all love and light. And I will talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.